What if the reason you can't stop drinking isn't a lack of willpower, but a fundamental misunderstanding of what alcohol actually does? For millions of people, the struggle with alcohol is shrouded in shame, stigma, and the belief that they are broken or addicted. In Alcohol Lied to Me, Craig Beck dismantles these myths with a revolutionary perspective. You don't have a disease. You've been sold a lie. This is not a traditional recovery book based on the 12-step model or medical diagnosis. It is a cognitive reprogramming guide that exposes the psychological tricks alcohol plays on your brain. By revealing the truth about the alcohol trap, Beck empowers listeners to quit easily, without withdrawal, without craving, and without feeling like they are giving up anything of value. If you are tired of the hangovers, the anxiety, and the endless cycle of promising to cut back, this audiobook will offer you the key to unlocking a life of freedom and clarity. Beck begins by challenging the societal narrative that alcohol is a necessary lubricant for social interaction or a reliable stress reliever. He argues that alcohol is actually a depressant that creates the very anxiety and insecurity it claims to cure. The audiobook format is particularly effective here, as Beck's narration is direct, conversational, and incredibly persuasive. His voice sounds like a friend who has figured out the secret code, sharing insights with urgency and empathy. Listeners feel a sense of relief as he normalizes their struggles, explaining that their desire to drink is not a moral failing, but a conditioned response. It creates an atmosphere of liberation, replacing guilt with understanding. The core of the book details the mechanics of the alcohol trap. Beck explains how small doses of alcohol create a temporary relief from withdrawal symptoms caused by previous doses, creating a vicious cycle that feels like pleasure, but is actually just the cessation of pain. He breaks down the chemical and psychological processes that keep people hooked, showing how the brain is hijacked by the promise of reward. These sections are eye-opening and logical, offering a scientific basis for quitting that doesn't rely on fear or shame. The narrator guides listeners through these concepts with clarity, ensuring that the logic is undeniable. It transforms the abstract urge to drink into a recognizable pattern that can be broken. One of the most compelling aspects of Alcohol Lied to Me is its focus on identity shift. Beck teaches listeners how to stop seeing themselves as drinkers who are trying to quit and start seeing themselves as non-drinkers who are free. He provides mental tools for reframing social situations, dealing with peer pressure, and finding joy in sobriety. These insights are empowering and practical, offering a new way to navigate the world without alcohol. The audiobook captures this transformative mindset with a tone that is confident and uplifting. It reminds listeners that they are not losing a friend, they are escaping a bully. The book also addresses the common fears associated with quitting, such as boredom, loss of confidence, and missing out. Beck debunks these fears by showing how alcohol actually diminishes confidence and creates boredom by numbing the senses. He shares his own story of transformation, highlighting the increased energy, better sleep, and improved relationships that came with sobriety. These reflections are inspiring and realistic, providing a vision of the benefits that await. The narrator handles these personal anecdotes with honesty, creating a sense of trust and camaraderie. As the guide progresses, Beck offers strategies for handling triggers and maintaining long-term freedom. He emphasizes that once the illusion is shattered, the desire to drink disappears naturally. He encourages listeners to celebrate their new reality rather than mourn their old habits. These tips are sustainable and positive, focusing on gain rather than loss. The audiobook supports this optimistic outlook, with a pacing that builds momentum toward a brighter future. Alcohol Lied to Me concludes with an invitation to step into the light. Craig Beck leaves listeners with the understanding that alcohol has no power over them once they see it for what it is, a poison disguised as a friend. For anyone struggling with moderate to heavy drinking, those curious about sobriety, or supporters of loved ones, this audiobook is an essential resource. It proves that quitting doesn't have to be hard, it just has to make sense. So put on your headphones, open your mind, and break the spell. The real you is waiting, and they are sober, happy, and